All right, everybody. So Jay-Z has responded to his, and I'm not going to say alleged son anymore. I'm just going to say his son, because if y'all haven't watched the Tasha K interview, he actually was found the father by default because Jay-Z refused to go to court. And let's go ahead and set a record straight. This whole lawsuit that Raymir has against his father, Jay-Z, is because of he's trying to show how the court system is doing things and unjustly doing victims simply by either being bribed or paid off, allegedly. Now, we will say that part, allegedly, because it has not actually been proven yet. But the purpose of his whole lawsuit is just to expose what's actually going on. Because if y'all haven't watched that Tasha K interview, you need to go back and watch the Tasha K interview, where they actually interviewed him and his guardian, which Jay-Z team keeps saying his grandma. That's not his grandma. That's his godmother, who started taking care of him after his mother passed away, and said that she would continue to help him along this fight. And the whole reason the auntie is gearing in on Jay-Z the way she is because he had his fancy attorneys to flip the script to make it to where she owed him money, and not because of the fact that he was proven or defaulted Raymir's father, but because of court fees and other stuff that she filed incorrectly when she was trying to pursue this case years ago. And so, and just kind of give y'all a little bit of backstory, Jay-Z actually wanted to sign Raymir onto his record label when he first found out about Raymir, when Raymir was in high school. And his guardian, not his grandmother, she's his guardian, had declined him of doing so because she said his education came first. So it's a little bit of misconstrued information when it comes about this case. But his stance has always been the same. It is not about getting money from him or anything else. Although I would personally say to Raymir, after what he put you through and how he drugged you, and he potentially caused your mom, because of the stress and stuff that was going on with her, to not be with us today, and the unnecessary stress he put on you and your godmother and your family by causing all these alleged threats and alleged pew-pewing up your vehicle, I would try to get him for much as possible. But his intentions is not that. Okay, so in order for him to prove what the court has done, the only way Jay-Z really can deny what has happened is to take the paternity test. The paternity test will show that he's not the father, and because they were dragging him through all this, then he could actually countersue if this was done out of spite. But the problem is, not one time has Jay-Z denied that he ever had any involvement with his mother. In fact, he did not deny that. And he filed a 40 pages counter motion to have the whole case dismissed that Raymir is trying to do. Now, mind you, Raymir is doing this all on his own. He does not have lawyers because he doesn't have money for that or whatnot. Raymir is 30 years old, and I believe 31, and he does have children. So if Jay-Z is his biological father, not just by technicality, but by blood, he has grandchildren that he's denying. And Jay-Z has filed a 40-page response to Raymir's lawsuit. And he's basically asking the judge to kick it out. He ain't denying the relationship in all 40 pages. He ain't denying he been with this woman in all 40 pages. What he's trying to do is not be able to have to take that paternity test, because I honestly feel Jay-Z knows this is his child. Why else would a man who have millions go to court, millions upon billions of dollars, go to court against someone who has no attorney and spend all this money, all these thousands, if not going into the millions of dollars, in order to get all this kicked out because you were able to coerce 8. And I'm going to show you something else, because you was able to get 8 judges inside with you as well. Why not just simply take a test that probably would cost under $100 to say you're not his father, right? Because the minute he takes that test, it's going to show he is the father. So therefore, he ain't trying to do that because he don't want to. It's not so much about, well, it could be about his DNA, because according to sources out there, he has other alleged children as well, older children, just up under Raymir's age. Raymir was his first. The others follow behind him, including the ones he had with Beyonce. So why not just simply pay less than $100, take the test, and get this thing over with? Well, that's because he does not want to. He doesn't want to do that because one is going to prove the most damning thing about him to the public, that he has had relationships with Raymir's mother, who was 15 at the time he got her impregnated. And in fact, if you listen to the Tasha K review, Jay-Z he had some strong feelings for Raymir's mom at some point, to the point where he even came back for her, but the family wouldn't allow it. And maybe that's part of his grudge. I don't know. Maybe that's part of his grudge towards everybody as far as his son. But regardless of the fact, Jay-Z, if he is your son, you need to step up and acknowledge him. You need to acknowledge your grandchildren. You need to, they need to know their bloodline for various reasons, not just your money. But in retrospect, Jay-Z is trying to have all of it dismissed. And he's paying all this money against his son because he's deemed his son years ago by default. Then simply just taking a DNA test. And now for all the fathers who don't have millions of dollars to throw to judges to get them to side with them, I would be very upset that all you had to do was get summoned to court and you had to do a paternity paternity test because it was court ordered, versus someone who has all this money that can pay off people. And we're going to go back to the 8 judges that over the course of all these years since Raymir was a child, he's now 31, has removed, who has dismissed cases, not because they weren't true, but because of technicalities and loopholes that they were finding because the people did not have the knowledge on how to properly file something. That's the only reason it got taken out. But this time, Raymir has a judge that finally listened. And now Jay-Z had to respond. So when he said he needed time to get his stuff together, he needed time to try to orchestrate this 40-page response. 40 pages. And he'd rather go through all that than simply just say, I didn't sleep with his mother. I had no relationship with her. Therefore, I can't be the father. To prove this, I'll just take the test. That's because he already know the answer to this. And I do believe as long as this judge does not dismiss it and he give Raymir a chance, I pray to God that this judge follow the law and give him a chance. Give the victim a chance to be heard. That they court order Jay-Z the way they court order millions of men across this world once they are noted as the father, to prove if they are or if they aren't. This is the most unnecessary, expensive case for Jay-Z part, because it was easier to pay $100 to say it wasn't than it is to pay thousands. So get it dismissed. Go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me what y'all think. And about those judges, if in fact the judge allows all this stuff to go through and they hear this case out, it's also going to open up a can of worms for those judges that kick this all out when they should have been following the letter of the law, which should put them in harm's way as well. So hopefully God keeps his hands on this case for Raymir, and he finally get justice. And he finally get the truth of who he really is. Go ahead and drop your comments down below. And as always, be your brothers and your sisters' keeper. Keep God first. And toodles.